The three core strategies to get new real estate clients. You have sphere influence and referrals, prospecting, and marketing. Now, your sphere and referrals is the backbone of your business, but when you don't get enough business from it, what should you do? Should you ramp up the phones and start cold prospecting, or should you start using social media? I want to compare the two and clearly explain the rationale for when you should use one or the other and why you should do so. Because this is such a common situation a lot of real estate agents find themselves in. And if you do understand exactly what I'm about to tell you, the chances of your success will dramatically increase. Now, there's going to be three factors I want to compare to help you design the optimal daily workflow for you as a real estate agent to scale your real estate business. So the first factor is speed of getting results. Let's approach this from a point of view that you're just starting from scratch, you haven't done any social media, you haven't done any prospecting before, nor anything else. But you have been working with your sphere of influence and referrals, and you've been a regular realtor, but now you want to scale your real estate business. Well, after analyzing thousands of realtors' client acquisition systems and processes, and having worked with hundreds of realtors one-on-one on their client acquisition systems, I've seen that the average time it takes agents to start getting results with cold prospecting is around 3 to 6 months. So if you're an average realtor and you get coached on cold prospecting, calling off ISPOs, calling it expireds, or door knocking, and you go hard at it for 3 to 4 hours a day, 5 days a week, it's likely going to take you about 3 months or so before you start getting deals closed. Now, of course, this too, right, there's an exception on the spectrum, because some people get lucky, they close the deal right away. Some people get unlucky, right, and then they get the deal later. So what about social media marketing? With social media, it's important to make a distinction between the two sides of social media. So we have organic social media, and then there's the paid social media. So organic means that you use these platforms in a way that does not cost you any money, and paid means that you spend money on advertising on social media. Now, with paid ads, if your ads and processes are dialed in, you start closing in deals in about 30 to 60 days. Then with organic marketing on social media, on average, it usually takes around 3 months to a half year, so about 6 months, to start getting deals closed consistently, because it does take some time to build your audience, create engaging content, and gain trust among your followers. Now, depending on your starting point, whether you don't currently have any profiles on social media whatsoever, or if you do already have, say, 1,000 Facebook friends and say 500 Instagram followers, you can get a few deals much faster than that. But in general, it takes about a few months for people starting to experience consistency from their organic social media. Now, it's important to also mention that the speed of results from cold prospecting and social media and paid advertising, of course, varies significantly depending on the agent's sales skills, determination, experience, organization, and the market conditions and the market itself. Now, what I just outlined here are typical, the average timeframes most realtors see. Now, the second factor is going to be the cost. So paid social media advertising is by far the fastest way to start getting new deals, because you're literally just getting people reaching out to you for help in terms of getting a home sold or getting a home bought. So by paying for those advertising, you're really able to cut down that speed of it, and also the time aspect to it that comes with the cold prospecting. Now, you do need to have a financial buffer to cover, obviously, the costs of running the paid advertising when you're running the ads for the first time. Whereas with cold prospecting and organic social media, those are pretty much completely free to do. The third factor you need to consider as a real estate agent is the scalability and the flywheel effect. Now, prospecting has its limitations because there's only so many people you can reach daily through cold calling or door knocking, but there's so many expired listings and FSBOs on the market at all. And there's only so many hours in a day as well, so you are capped in terms of physical time and physical limitations. So at a certain point, you are going to run out of hours in a day, and it can become very, very exhausting, especially even if you do close a couple of deals. As you start working with those clients, prospecting 4 or 5 hours per day can become very much impossible. Now, with organic social media and paid advertising, those are very much more scalable. As you create more content and you engage with your audience, your reach and influence will grow exponentially. And it doesn't really matter how much time you actually spend on the social media, because every post you create, it has a scalability effect. It doesn't matter if a million people see it or if one person sees that. And it creates that flywheel effect as you gain that momentum and your efforts start to produce compounding results. So let that sink in. Your results will increase exponentially, but without you doing any more work. The amount of work that remains exactly the same, but you're getting exponentially more clients over time. And this happens because organic social media marketing, your audience grows, so every time you post, more people end up seeing your content. As with paid ads, you can simply increase your ad spend to reach more people, which will then in turn into more leads, more appointments, more commissions, eventually more profit. This allows you to grow your business without the same limitations as you would have with the prospecting activities. Next important factor you need to consider is the level of difficulty. If you have never done cold prospecting, if you've never done social media marketing before, we need to talk about how difficult it is going to be to learn these things at a level that is going to produce your results. Now, one important factor to consider here that is often actually overlooked by real estate agents is personality types. Now, some people are just naturally born salespeople. They're extroverts, they love talking to hundreds of people every single day, they love convincing people to do stuff, and whereas for others, it can be a very massive uphill battle. And I firmly believe that what one man can do, of course, another can do as well, but it's important to be aware of your strengths and weaknesses on your personal level. So your personality type will have a huge impact on the learning curve because cold prospecting requires great amounts of social skills, a lot of interaction, a lot of grit, and a lot of emotional resistance. So when you hear things like, again, I don't want to do this right now, or who are you, why are you calling me, it can be very tough if you're a more introverted person or you're more like logical person to kind of do that every single day and hear that and get a lot of hang-ups as well. Whereas with social media, if you're systematic and you're a fast learner, you'll do well with that and you can kind of build a system that does all of that work for you. Now, fifth factor you need to consider as a real estate agent when you're building and scaling your real estate business is going to be work enjoyment. I firmly believe that everyone should consider their work enjoyment. How do you want to spend the next 10 years to 20 years on a daily basis? How do you want that to look like? What kind of things do you enjoy doing personally? If you do things that you dread and hate on a daily basis for 4 to 5 hours a day, not only will you be sucking the life out of yourself, but you eventually burn out and you start hating your actual work. So that said, what do you want to do as a real estate agent? Should you focus on prospecting, social media, or both? So if you're a new realtor, you typically have a little bit more time, and if you need to get closings quickly as soon as possible, I mean it's a life or death situation, consider start doing both. So doing both prospecting to build your initial client database, but also your organic social media at the same time. This will help you to establish a foundation for your business, maximize your odds to get clients, and eventually build enough leverage to take the feet off the pedal with cold prospecting if you don't want to be doing that for long term. Now, let's say if you love cold prospecting and you love cold calling and door knocking, it just comes naturally to you and you dread social media, you hate that, then definitely get into that and do the bare minimum on social media so that you look like a person that's legit, an actual real estate agent when people search you up online. Now, if you're a realtor who's already doing great amount of deals from referrals in your sphere, and maybe you tried some marketing from social media and maybe lead generation side, but you really want to scale right now and you have at least a small financial buffer to invest into ads, get started with organic social media, learn the ropes, and then after you do that, get started with paid ads as soon as possible. And this way, that's going to allow you to quickly unlock a new level of scale for yourself in the shortest amount of time possible and really get the most efficiency out of your days. Now, the final thing I must mention that whether it's cold prospecting or organic social media or paid advertising or any other skill that's important for the growth of your business, a common pattern that I've seen just between the people that are at the top of their field is that instead of trying to reinvent the wheel, they invest into learning the skills, they invest into buying the expertise, buying the systems and processes to shortcut that learning curve at literally 50 times your chances of success. That's why I personally spent over $30,000 on education last year alone, hundreds of thousands of dollars over the years. And so no matter which route you go, find yourself a mentor or a coach to help you out with that and get you a proven system.